So, to all my beautiful ladies out there who has suffered with a man, and finally these people makes it in life, and their attitude towards you changed instantly, or they kind of abandon you, and to you you're very bitter. Do you understand? Because I know what it means for a woman to actually stand by a man when this person doesn't have a surname. I know what it means for a woman to suffer with a man. Like, your man cannot even afford your basic needs, but you literally stayed back in this person's life and all that. Yeah, we do understand all that. And all the women that did this for a man usually expect something very good or very huge in return. Yeah, myself inclusive. If I should suffer with any man or suffer with my husband and things turns around, of course I will be expecting that I will be getting everything I need at my beck and call, right? But now there is something that I feel that we ladies doesn't always put into consideration. You know, sometimes women are fond of thinking straight without putting one or two into consideration. Listen, staying in a man's life when he's probably still struggling or suffering and kind of doesn't mean that you stood by this person or that you suffered with this person. Remember, there are difference between suffering with somebody and standing with somebody. Do you understand? For example, if you're standing with a man when a man is suffering, it simply means that you did not for any reason or for any day remind this person of his weakness. Do you understand? You did not for any reason or any day compare this person with any of his friends that is doing better than him or that is doing well at that moment. Standing by a man simply means that when one or two occurs, you do not tell this person ancient and model, insulting him and reducing him to nothing, counting all the things he couldn't do for you as a man. My sister, so many men in that show, we prefer to be alone at that moment, because standing for them is as good as you pushing them to their early grave. This is the simple truth. Again, suffering with a man is two types. Number one, when you're suffering with a man, it simply means that whatever that person can offer to you at that moment, you are going to accept it wholeheartedly. This is what we call suffering with a man. If you're suffering with a man, it simply means that when you ask for 20 naira and this person gives you 1 naira, you accept this 1 naira happy, appreciating this man, showing this man that you appreciate that 1 naira he gave to you. In the other hand, you can still live with a man which is suffering with a man also, but you are never appreciative of anything that this man does for you. You're living with this man, yes. Everybody could see that this man doesn't have money, but you stayed back. Some cases, you're not just staying back because you want to stay back. So many women stayed back because they don't have a choice. So many women stayed back because they don't want to be called or to be looked at in some kind of way, to be called a bad person or something of that nature. So when you are in the shoes of those women that stayed back because you don't want the world to look at you some type of way, you don't want to be called a bad wife, it doesn't simply mean that you suffered with this person, because oftentimes anything, any little thing that your husband can afford or this man can afford, it's usually a very big case. Before you accept anything, you will argue and nag. You will remind him of his weakness. You will curse him and curse his generation. You will tell him ancient and modern. Sometimes you have spoken to that man that he nearly took his own life. This doesn't mean that you stood by him or that you suffered with him. And this explains why a lot of women are suffering today in their husband's house. So many of you stood by that your man. In your own way. That was why I first of all explained the types of standing by a man and types of suffering with a man. You suffered with a man, but your only contribution to that man was that you did not pack your bag and go. You were still living under the same roof with this man. But during that process when he was struggling, you used your mouth to send him to his early grave. It's a different thing. You stood by this man, yes, but what happened in the process of standing by him? Were you encouraging him in any way? Did you encourage him? Or did you reduce him to zero? Did you constantly remind him that he could not do this and that? Did you constantly remind him that he is a failure? These are the questions you should ask yourself as a woman before you start demanding things in the nearest future. I always tell women this thing. You see, any man that you suffered with, any man that you stood by when the going is rough, these people will definitely build heaven for you when the going is smooth. This is men for you. Yes, I'm not saying that all men yeah, we have bad ones that could easily forget people that did one or two for them, but majority of men doesn't forget that woman that stand by them. You see, a woman that stood by a man when this going was rough, when this person is struggling, you see that person that sincerely stand by them, they will never forget you in a hurry. Be it a little advice, be it a little being there for them when you see that this person is breaking down. You go to him and you constantly advise him. You constantly give him reasons to leave. The little one your husband gives to you, you appreciate him. You make him feel like other men, like his fellow men, even though he's not doing much. Men does not forget this kind of thing in a hurry. So if you're a woman out there and you have been wondering why your husband is not giving you the kind of money you have been expecting because you have been with him while the going was rough, and now that the going is smooth, you feel that your husband's supposed to be giving you everything you requested. My sister, I want you to ask yourself this question. Yes, you soaked garri with your husband, but the question is, did you soak that garri with clean heart? Did you soak that garri with that man smiling? Did you soak that garri with him, encouraging him in the process of soaking the garri? Or were you soaking the garri and cursing his generation? Were you soaking the garri and calling him a useless man? Were you soaking the garri and comparing him with other men out there? This is the question. Let me tell you, men are designed in such a way that anything that has to do with their humble beginning, they do not forget. If you're dealing with a man, be careful, especially when it has to do with this person's humble beginning. I am saying it now. You are a woman, your husband is suffering, he doesn't have anything, you're working. Instead of you to be bringing out the little you can to support the man in any way, you will rather do what? Save your own and still curse this man on top of it. You still remind him of his weakness. You see every morning, the good morning he gets from you is insult. You remind him that he's not a man enough. And then you expect that when things finally turns around tomorrow, that this person is going to build heaven for you. Is a lie. Whenever this person sees you, the only thing that clocks on his head is those insults you gave to him when he was a nobody. He will start to see you as a gold digger. He will feel that you are simply digging gold. Whatever you're doing at that, even if you sincerely changed, he will always see that now you are treating him better because he has made it in life. Because when he was a nobody, you treated him illy. So you have to be very, very careful of a treatment you're giving to a man. And when you are expecting that your husband will do this for you when things turn around, it starts from the treatment you give to him when the going was rough, right? I love you. Don't forget to share this video. I just feel I should throw more light on this because a lot of people are having higher expectation when they did absolutely nothing, right? I will definitely see you in my next one. Cheers, guys.